So today we are talking about taking photos of properties, this property specifically, and what we're going to be trying to do today is try to figure out how to take the best photos possible with this. Let's get started. So I've got my camera set up, I've got it on the tripod, it's nice and stable, I've got it set up the way I like it. I've walked around the room and I've removed things like the dishwashing liquid and the paper towels and things of that nature that are going to, make the room not look as good. So what I've done now is I've set the camera up so that it can look all the way across the room. I can get as much in this photo, in one photo, as I can possibly get, because I want my customers to see as much as possible in one photo. I want to entice them to look at the more specific photos down the line, but at the beginning I want them to kind of get that wow shot at the beginning, as much as they can possibly get in the first 3 photographs. So I like this photo because it gives the picture of the grandness of this particular room, but you'll make your own decisions when you do your own properties. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to turn on my camera here. So my camera is on auto, and I have the grid lines up, and what I'm looking for here in my picture with the grid lines is I'm looking to make sure that the vertical lines are in alignment, so the camera's not tilted this way, this way, this way, or this way. I want to make sure that my vertical lines are straight up and down, not by my eye, but by the camera's eye, and that's when I'm using those vertical line graphs on this grid that I have on the screen here. So I want to change this just a little bit. I want to move this over and get a little bit more of the room in here. No sense in getting a whole bunch of wall here when I could get a little bit more of the kitchen. And let's just move it just like that. And I think that's going to give me the best picture of this room here, in my opinion. Like I said, your opinion is going to definitely vary. So from here, I'm just going to tap the picture button, and I'm going to do it actually a couple of times just to ensure that I got that picture. I'm going to take a look at that photograph in my screen here to make sure that I did indeed get the picture that I wanted. I can actually go back and look at the other one as well. And that's the beauty of taking these pictures with your cell phone or any kind of digital camera, is you can look at the picture right at that moment. So, and then maybe something jumps out at you, maybe you forgot to remove something and you want to go over there and take it. And if, like, let's say that there's a remote on the table over there that I see, that I want to remove that television remote from over there. The beauty of this is I can leave this here, and I don't have to worry about it changing the picture at all because I'm holding it with my hands. So I'm just going to go over there and grab that. And now that it's out of view, I'm just going to take that picture again. There. I know that was a small thing, but sometimes it's the small things that make the difference. So let's move on to the next shot. All right, so now we've moved to the other side. So we're taking a picture now of the kitchen, and I'm doing this on an angle because angles are more forgiving than doing a straight-on shot. A straight-on shot, you really have to have it framed just right, or else the whole picture is going to look a little bit wonky. So I'm doing a little bit of an angle here, and what I'm doing is I'm moving the tripod back until I'm seeing that edge of that wall over there and that edge of that wall over there. That's giving me the entire kitchen, but I'm not putting a bunch of walls in my photograph. So I've framed the picture. I'm also using those grid lines to ensure that that picture is nice and straight, okay? So always check the grid lines, and in the photo industry they call it checking the verticals. So always check your verticals and make sure that you've got a nice framing on your picture. Okay, so now that I have this framed the way I want it, oh, looks like it went off, and so, or phones will do that. So we're just gonna, on an Android, you can just double tap the power button and it'll bring it right back up to the camera. And I'm just gonna tap that and take that picture a couple of times just to ensure that I got a good photo. I'm gonna look at it now, it's gonna bring that photo up, and I'm gonna just pass by it and make sure that the photo looks pretty good to me, so I'm very happy with that. So we're going to move on to the next phase, which is going to be the living room over here, and we're just going to switch sides. So come with me, it'll be fun. Okay, so this time what I had to do was I had to lower the camera down a little bit because all of the seating is lower. The countertop was much higher, so I wanted the camera to be up higher. But in this scenario, all the seating is lower, and I want the framing of the floor and a little bit of ceiling in there, but not a whole lot. So what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that I'm getting everything going from the from one end to the other. I'm making sure that I'm cutting off on the wall over here and kind of cutting off over there where I know you can't see it, right there where that lamp is right there. So I'm getting just the living room or sitting room in this area just the way I want it. So lowered the camera a little bit, moved it back till I got everything in frame, got everything framed up just the way I want it, peruse the room again, make sure there's nothing laying out like a remote control or something that you don't want to see, a magazine or something out there. And also personal items like a photograph of the current occupants, or the current owners rather. So I actually see one over there. I'm going to run over there and grab that, and I'm just going to put it in the chair real quick just to take the photograph, and I'm just going to put it right back. So hold on. So just by running over there real quick and doing that, I've removed those items, but now the balance on that table is wrong, so I'm going to need to spread some things out so the table looks right. You don't want to, even though the pictures made that table balanced, and since I removed them, I need to try to balance that out. Lucky for me, there's actually 3 things up there on the sofa table there, and I'm going to go ahead and just move that over to balance it out. So now it looks like my sofa table's balanced out. I like the way the picture is framed out. I'm going to go right over here. I'm going to pull my camera back up. And now, like I said, always the last thing you do is take the picture, right? So we're set to take that picture. So now I'm just going to take that picture. Take a couple of them, just like I always do. Bring that picture up. Look for any kind of weirdness or something that I did wrong. Sometimes it helps if you look at the second picture. I'm very happy with that photograph. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back and put back their items where they were. And that way I don't have to worry about coming back to this room and trying to remember what I did or didn't do. So just a second. All right, so I've taken care of their room. I made sure I put everything back. I didn't have to take everything way far out of the room or anything like that. I just made it so that I knew the camera would not see it, which is all that really has to be done. So now we're going to move on to a bedroom. Here we go. All right, so here we are in the bedroom now, and the bedroom goes all the way. It's long. It's kind of a shotgun, if you will, all the way back. We have space in this room for the bed, obviously, over here. As you can see, there's windows over here, and then it goes all the way back. And then if you come over here, you have your television and items there. There's a door over there, and the room kind of cuts in and then has this alcove in the back. So shooting this room straight on is going to be our best bet, so we're going to have to frame it up really well. Also, remember your cell phone is going to have a limited frame. It doesn't have this giant wide-angle lens that's going to catch it from side to side, so we're probably going to take advantage of that panoramic photo that we talked about at the beginning. So let's take a look around the room real quick, and let's remove any pictures of the current owners, and let's make sure that we're up to snuff for that photo first, because this is where the prep work begins, right? Always go through the room and just kind of remove any photographs of the current owners or anything that you think might detract from the space that you're trying to display to anybody that would be interested in purchasing this property. So we're going to get our camera set up now, and then we're going to take a good look at it and see how we can come out. Okay, so I've got the tripod set up. I've got my cell phone ready to go. And I've got my grid lines lined up, so I know that my verticals are good. My problem is that right now what I'm getting in this picture and what's framed in this picture is basically from the top of the bed back. I'm not really getting any of the end tables. I'm not getting any of the stuff I want. So we're going to take advantage of that panoramic photograph this time and see how that works for us. So which now I'm just getting this much, but that's not the end result of this photo. So I want to get this at the height that I can get the most possible, and in this case the camera just simply needs to be lower. Also, it's sticking up this high. I could loosen this up and actually scoot the camera down some as well to get a little bit extra out of that. You don't want to go too low that you're squishing in on the buttons though, because if it squishes in on the buttons, it'll mess everything up. So we just want to make sure that we're lined up. Now I'm going to have to ensure my grid lines are right again because I turned the whole camera. So let's make sure that I can go a little bit back and forth here. And I've got my grid line lined up now. So I'm pretty happy with that. So now, because it's in this portrait mode, I can actually see all the way to the floor in front of the bed. Now that I'm happy with the framing of this shot, we're going to switch this to panoramic view. On an Android, you would swipe and then click panoramic. On an iPhone, it's at the bottom and you would swipe until it says pano. Okay, so now I'm going to move the camera over to the side I want to go to. And I'm going to get as far over as I want to get, which in my case is going to be right before I hit this edge of this wall over here. Right over here, I just want to make sure that's not in the frame. But I want to get as much of the room as I can possibly get, so right about there is where it's at. So now I'm going to click on the picture. And that gave me a panoramic photo of the room. And because it's in the portrait mode, it's going to be taller, but I still get the length. So I'm determining the length. I put it in portrait mode to get that extra height is what I did. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that photograph. And yeah, that photo turned out really, really good. We're going to put it up on the screen for you guys to see it there. And then we're going to do another couple of things in here, and we're going to move on to the bathroom next. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to move to the other side of the room and just get a picture of the room coming from the other direction. And I may not like that picture later, but I'm going to go ahead and take it. You know, I'm actually pretty suspect about taking that picture, but just because I'm suspect of it doesn't mean I might get back to the office and think, you know what, that's the best picture for this room. So you have unlimited amount of pictures in here. I mean, to a degree, you have an unlimited amount of pictures. Certainly not like the days when you had a film and you only had like 24 pictures. You can take 100 pictures if you want, so why not walk over to the other side of the room, take a couple more photographs. You might get back to the office and think, that is a better picture of this room. So sometimes go against your gut feeling and just take the picture, right? So I'm just going to run around the room, take some photographs, and then we'll move on to the next room. So here we are in the bathroom, and as you can see from your view of the bathroom here, you can basically see the shower. You can't really see the toilet, you can't see the vanity, you can't really get a whole lot of it in frame at one time. And a lot of the problem that you run into is that if you came in here and took the picture, your picture is in the mirror here. We're going to come in here into the bathroom, and you can see that here is the bathroom, the facilities, and the mirror, of course. And a lot of the problem that you have when you take pictures in the bathroom like this is the mirror itself. Is if I'm sitting in here and I'm trying to take a picture, I'm showing up in the mirror. So that's a bit of a problem. Also, you have your toilet here, you have everything else. You want them to be able to see kind of everything in this bathroom at one time. So we're going to try to take advantage of that panoramic photo that we're going to be able to take from the doorway and keep us out of that mirror. I like to close the toilet seat when I'm doing a picture of the bathroom. It's up to you. Also remember, go through the bathroom and also look for personal items in here as well. Personal photographs, things of that nature that you may not want to be in the photograph. So you just kind of want to take a look around. Turn on your lights. Turn on the lights. Make sure you get as much lighting in here as possible. Remember, we want the room to be bright and cheery. If they've got a window and the light's coming in is too harsh, if they have blinds, you know, you can control how much light is coming in with the blinds. So you want to maybe tone it down just a bit, but turn all the lights on first and kind of see where you're at. Okay, so from here, I think I like the blinds a little bit down like that. So I'm going to take that picture. Plus, I like the way the light's coming off these shelves here. So I'm going to go ahead and take that photograph. So let me get this set up. I look like the bathroom's in good shape to take a picture now. So hold on just a minute, we'll get it set up. Remember, picture's always the last thing you do, right? All right, so I have the camera set up now. I'm going to take one picture of it in landscape so we can kind of see what the camera would see if we just took this picture. And I'm going to put it up on the screen for you guys to see, and you can see that that's not a very good representation of this bathroom. So we're going to want to go ahead and use that panoramic photo again. So I'm going to, like I said before, always keep your hand on the phone. Okay, always keep your hand on the phone. Turn that into portrait. And then I'm ready to go for that panoramic shot. I want to go ahead, because I turned the phone, I want to check those grid lines again and make sure that I'm still up and down with everything here. And it looks like I'm a little bit off. I'm just going to give it just a nudge, and there we go. So we're all set there. I'm going to swipe over and I'm going to put it on panoramic mode, just like before. And I'm going to back it up just a tad, and then I want to get it over here. Okay, and let me see. I can preview what I'm going to get by going like this. And so I'm going all the way over until I get this door frame here. Now that I've seen that door frame's in the image, I'm really happy with what I'm seeing here. So I'm going to go ahead and swing it back, kind of start over there. And I'm kind of starting with the end of the shower center there, because it's just a straight wall going across. So I'm going to hit that picture button, and I'm just going to calmly go across, calmly going straight across. Okay, not fast, not hurrying, just moving it right across. I'm using like one finger to push this knob over. Okay, I got it where I want it. I'm just going to click stop, and that's all there is to it. And we're going to put that picture up on the screen so you can see that that is a much better representation of this bathroom. You're going to be able to, your customer will be able to, or a potential buyer will be able to see a lot more in this bathroom. We've gotten a picture of a bedroom and a small bathroom. Large bathrooms are pretty easy to do, so we're not going to do one of those today because they're so large it's easy to get in there and kind of get at that right angle. If you have any questions about doing something like that, I would do my best to answer, but remember, this video is not meant to take the place of a professional photographer. It is there to help you in circumstances where a photographer is not needed, or you want to get some pictures before your photographer shows up there and does pictures. I realize I'm taking pictures of a very, very nice house that most of the time would warrant a photographer to come out. But if I had the listing agreement signed and I wanted to go ahead and get it on the MLS, and I wanted to get some nice pictures on there that I'll replace later, this is a good way to get some decent photographs. Just make sure you, allot yourself some time, allot yourself like an hour to an hour and a half to come out here and take some decent photographs. Don't just walk around and just snap, snap, snap. Try to make sure that you get a nice lined up picture. Remember, the customers will be seeing this, so that's what you want to do, and I hope these tips help you out. We're going to go outside and we're going to do some exterior shots. I'm telling you these things now because when I'm outside doing the exterior shots, I'll be out in the road and I don't want to have to wrap up outside right in the middle of the road in potentially dangerous situation. So let's move outside and take some exterior shots now. Okay, so here's the problem. This is the sidewalk where the camera's sitting right now, and you obviously can't see all of this property in here if it goes all the way over there to all the way over there. So we have a couple of choices here. We can take that panoramic shot, but the panoramic shot is going to, like I said, distort it a little bit, and when you're taking a picture of something this large, it's going to make the sidewalk and everything else a lot more distorted. So my suggestion in these scenarios is just back up as far as you need to back up. But because we're outside and because there's a road and there's cars and things like that, you have to be extra specially careful. I recommend that you have somebody out here watching for you, because when you get involved in taking a picture, you might not be paying attention, and then somebody might not be paying attention that's driving, and then bad things can happen. So if you can have the owner out here with you, or somebody that can kind of keep an eye out for you while you're doing something like this. This isn't so bad where I'm at today. It's way back in a neighborhood, so the main road is not a busy road, so it's going to be relatively safe for me to do. But a lot of properties are not on roads that are this slow. Also, when you're doing an exterior shot, you're going to want to wait till maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, 6 or 7 in daylight savings time, because you're going to want to get that when the sun's not up. You kind of want to catch that magic hour. You could also, if you're a morning person, do that first thing in the morning as well. Try to take those pictures in a time frame that is most conducive to taking the right kind of photograph. If you don't have time and you just need to get the photo done, then by all means take the photo. Let's get it set up and let's take that photograph, right? So we've got our camera out here now. We're gonna start framing it up. So we're gonna start here. We're on the sidewalk right now, as you can see. We're gonna start framing it up. And I'm gonna show you what those pictures look like and why we're moving farther back. So let me get this first picture done and then we'll go from there, okay? That picture didn't hardly have any of the house in frame, but I'm going to show it to you right here so that you can see why we're moving further back. So let me move this back and let's get a better shot this time. So what I've done now is I've moved out to the street, and remember, look both ways. So I've got my camera set up, and what I've done is I've centered the camera on the house, not the door, on the house, because I want it to be equal amounts of the house on either side of the photograph. So I'm trying to center it up where I'm getting the house in the middle of it. Okay, so looks like I've got a good shot here. I've got it nice and set up, nice and stable on my tripod, which is going to give me a much better photograph. So I'm going to click it, and I'm going to click it a couple more times. Now what I'm going to do, since I'm outside, is I'm going to go ahead and move off to that off angle. So we're just going to move down the road here. You never know which one you're going to like the best, so I always recommend you take as many as you can. So now I'm taking this picture where I'm getting the house at an angle, and I want to try not to get as much of the neighbor's house in there as possible, although I can crop that out, so not to worry too much about it. So I've taken that photograph, and now I'm going to walk down to the other side and set up the same picture coming from the other angle. The straight on shots are great, but sometimes that angle shot's going to give you a little bit more dynamic to your photograph. So I always recommend, while you're out here, go ahead and walk down and take it. Besides, according to my watch, I need to get a lot of steps in, so certainly won't hurt me any. So I've got it framed up. I need to tilt this up a little bit so that I'm getting a better shot there. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we're gonna put those shots up there. You can let me know in the comments which ones you like the best. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Notice I'm getting out of the road right away. When taking photographs of property with your cell phone, take deliberate photographs, give yourself time. Make sure you look through the pictures while you're on property so that you can see if you need to take a picture, if you need to move something, if something's in the picture that you didn't realize was there. The best part about these photographs is you completely and totally own the rights to them, and which is why we've always encouraged you to take your own photographs if it's at all possible and you can get good photographs. With one of these guys these days, you can take excellent photographs if you just take a little bit of time. If there's anything else we can do for you, let us know. This has been Jeremy with the MLS. Have a great day.